There are so many games that have just come out without me noticing.
Yep.
That it's just like the Moonbreakers beta happened like a while ago. Like I was planning on playing it, and then it's Midnight Suns. That's coming out. Gotta remember to
Midnight Suns is already out.
Are you gonna play Midnight Suns? Because like I want to, but I also don't want to at the same time.
Same. I haven't actually seen any gameplay yet, which to me is always sus.
I've seen like shitty like there are like hub world things of Midnight Suns where like after a mission you come back to like a mansion or something where you're hanging out and you have to like build up your friendship level with Iron Man or something, and you go outside and like Iron Man and you talk about like trees, and then like that builds your friendship level, and like it looks terrible in that regard. But I haven't seen like the combat.
Yeah, I haven't seen the combat. To me it looks very clunky. I was thinking about getting it for the Xbox but I saw screenshots and I'm like, that looks like a very mouse intensive game.
Yeah.
That does not look like something that's fun at all to play with a controller.
No, I want to get it when it's like $15 on a Steam sale and be like, oh, okay.
Tiny Rogues. It's made for Steam Deck now. Get it.
Tiny Rogues. James's game of the
year. Tiny Rogues. I'm shilling it.
We're all talking about Elden Ring. He's talking about Tiny Rogues.
I mean, Elden Ring is going to win.
Actually, I think it's going to be Marvel Snap for Ted.
Marvel Snap. Oh,
no.
Snap.
Marvel Snap got nominated for IGN's Game of the Year.
Yeah, it's probably going to win Mobile Game of the Year.
It definitely should win Mobile Game of the Year.
What else came out? What else came out then?
I knew this. Genshin Impact's on there for the third year in a row.
I said Genshin Impact's been out forever.
It released.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 115. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles and Ted Libby. We were just talking about what games we aren't playing. What are we playing? What are we messing around with at all? Even if it's just more Marvel Snap.
To talk about, so apparently for the nominees for the Game Awards mobile category, Apex Legends Mobile, which I didn't know existed, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact for the third year in a row, Marvel Snap, and a game called Tower of Fantasy. So
that's basically Genshin Impact, but different.
Okay, yeah, not a lot of competition there. Maybe Apex Legends Mobile.
I would say Apex Legends Mobile might be the winner.
I didn't even know they had a mobile.
I don't know
neither.
Everyone's got a mobile now. Call of Duty's got a mobile game.
Yeah, Call of Duty. Yeah.
Yeah, none of us play it. Do you see IGN's Game of the Year nominees?
I did not know. Is this like game of the year?
Game of the year, yeah, for them, for them. And both it's the main ones are like Horizon, all that stuff. God of War, Elden Ring, but they have Marvel Snap on there, and they have Mario Sparks of Hope, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
I still need to play that.
I was going to, and then I watched a review, and I was like,
oh, it turned you off.
I don't want to deal with these Rabbids. These guys look so stupid. I don't want to deal with them.
Yeah. If we're talking about Game of the Year stuff, is it just me, or do they need to give more time between like this is the cutoff and like this is the games that are going to be in the running this year? Because I feel like some of these, I think it was Mario Sparks of Hope and Paradox's Victoria 3 came out like 2 days before the nominees were even posted, which means that they were thinking about this before they were even out.
Yeah. Well, they only play them way before us.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, that doesn't seem like a very fair contest if a game that's been out for 2 days, A, I haven't had time to play it, and B, they haven't had time to play it to nominate it. So, like, what's going on here?
What's going on here? That's like God of War came out pretty late to the Game of the Year runnings. It's like, you had a
I think it's still fine, but not
you were able to still beat it with plenty of time to spare.
That's because I have a problem.
Yeah. November is basically like the cutoff, right? Like in November.
I think it's like end of November. Yeah, it's like November 20th. Or something.
It's like end of November, but then the announcements are like also end of November.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seems very weird.
Like, it's so much easier to watch movies, and they do it like 2 months after the year's over, which just to me makes way more sense.
And that's why I never understood like why isn't Game of the Year stuff like January? Like why is
it's to sell copies.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's also to sell hype. I'm gonna predict something. Game Awards. So Elden Ring.
Yep.
They announced their Coliseum update.
Yeah, I want to talk about this. Yeah,
but that's not. They're gonna present something at the Game Awards.
They're gonna announce the Elden Ring DLC.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
Or else they would have announced this Coliseum thing at Game
Like
Awards.
this Coliseum thing is underwhelming compared to what like they will announce. That's why.
What is Elden Ring Coliseum thing?
Yeah, so they announced that it came out today, Wednesday the 7th, I think is the date. That's right? Yeah, the 7th? Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. I was like, I don't remember.
Yep.
Yeah, they announced like a actual PvP arena mode where like you go into the Coliseums that are actually in the game. Like you can find them throughout the world.
Yeah.
But you can go in and then it's PvP and you can do, I don't know how the matchmaking works or whatever, but there are 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. There are like NPCs that will come in and fight, like mobs and stuff that will come and fight you as well. You can use your summons and everything. So they've like made a PvP battle mode, which is kind of cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Wasn't there already a PvP mode in the game?
So you could like invade someone's world and like fight them, but then people can hide and stuff. This is like Contest of Champions.
I thought I thought there was already a like dual mode.
Well, there was, but it was community made. Like fan.
Yeah, communities had areas where this is where you fight, and like people would just queue up in that area and 1v1.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really see any 2v2s or 3v3s, but you would see like invasions where it'd be like 3v1 or 2v1.
Yeah.
So now it's just balance.
Which I think is really cool.
That makes sense. Yeah, I kind of want to see how that looks.
Crossplay with more interactive
Yeah,
online
that's
tools.
what we need is crossplay lobbies for Elden Ring DLC.
Genuinely, like.
Do I have an advantage or disadvantage playing keyboard mouse in this game?
Yeah.
I don't.
People do it.
I've seen people do it. Yeah.
Yeah, people are into it.
It's good for probably bow builds.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Some guy beat Elden Ring with the dance pedal thing, the DDR
I saw that.
dance pedal thing.
Dude, somebody beat every single From game from Demon Souls to Elden Ring sequentially without taking damage.
Yep, that's Hob.
As in, if he took damage playing Dark Souls,
he had to go back to Demon Souls.
He went back to Demon Souls.
So never getting hit by an enemy. He does damage himself, like for items, but it's part of an item. But yeah, it doesn't get hit by an enemy, basically.
That's too much.
That's like that's all that dude's doing. Like that's all that guy's doing is practicing how not to get hit and from something.
Once you do it, what happens? Are you just like empty inside forever, or you just wait for the next game and redo it forever?
It's how I feel when I platinum a game that's like taking way too long, and then like you get that final collectible trophy to pop, and you're just like, okay,
all right,
I platinum the game.
Back to work.
I like go tell Maddie she doesn't care because it doesn't matter. And that's what this guy did with this FromSoft thing. I'm sorry to whoever this is. I don't know. But
he did a great thing, but
that's ridiculous.
That seems like a lot.
Just to not take damage. I've been playing Plague Tale Requiem.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know this came out.
One.
No, this is the second one.
This is the second one.
Okay, what's the first one called?
Plague Tale Innocence.
Innocence.
Oh, I had those mixed up.
This is Plague Tale
Did
Requiem.
you play the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun fact, I've never beaten the first one. I got to the final chapter. I think I went on a vacation, came back, and just didn't play the last of it, part of it, so I had to read the ending.
What are these games? Are they like story games?
Yeah. They're very reminiscent of the structure of The Last of Us Part 1. Is probably how I would say, kind of.
It's still like a game.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a game. This is not like a point and click adventure or like an As Dusk Falls like kind of narrative experience. It's a game. It's like 14th century, 15th century France, and it's like during the bubonic plague kind of thing. Like the rats are everywhere, but the rats are actually like part of this magical curse that's like running through the land, rather than just being a plague. And they're very narrative driven. It's you and your boy that you're protecting, like this young boy, your brother.
Like your boy. Oh.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Not like your boy.
Not like your boy.
I meant to say your brother, and then I said boy, and I was like, because I was thinking God of War,
Yeah.
She at no point goes boy, at all.
Boy.
But the little brother, says your name all the time in this shrieking Amicia voice all the time because that's her name. But it is a stealth game, and you sneak around these caverns, and you have like a sling, and you hit people in the head, and you sneak past them, and stab them, and light stuff on fire. And then the big mechanic is that the rats are everywhere and eat you, and like you have to scare them away with fire. And
the rat physics in these games are the best I've ever seen.
It's really cool.
In terms of, they are.
There are scenes where like
scary.
You're running down a hallway and like the rats, like they're just like mounds of rats, like breaking through. Think like Indiana Jones, Last Crusade, when Indy's like in that little like under the library and there's all the rats. Think of that like times 10, And there are scenes where you're like running down a hallway and like rats will like burst through the wall and like these just crazy rat charging scenes. Very cool.
Wow.
Very cool.
So it's not cumbersome.
No.
It's more cinematic. You're not like it's not like in Gears of War they had the nighttime bats that like killed you if you stepped into the dark.
No.
It's really
the rats are very much like puzzle based stuff. Like, how do I get to that thing while surviving all the rats?
Got it. Okay.
Sorry, I'm still getting over the flu. But yeah, so
I'll stay with you.
I know that cough is just killing me.
That cough that stays with you months.
Oh, I was in a work meeting just coughing up a storm today. I was like, everyone thinks I have COVID. Yeah, but the rats are just like kind of a deterrent puzzle mechanic more than anything. Or like you'll have fun stealth mechanics where like during sequences, like there will be guards looking for you and there's rats everywhere and they've got like their lanterns or their torches and you can like knock out the torches and then all the rats will like come on and like eat the guy. That's always
That's so
fun.
cool.
But what I think
is it like Dishonored Thief type gameplay stealth?
Yeah, but I would compare it more to like Last of Us sneaking around, kind of like when you're in those like kind of bigger buildings, kind of sneaking around the infected or something. It feels more reminiscent of that than anything else. I've gotten like 3 or 4 chapters in, so I don't know if there's like big action sequences and stuff, but in the first game there really weren't. It was just like stealth rats, kind of like running down a hallway away from something, rinse and repeat. But the story's engaging. It's fun, weird magic, and really no game is set in like 15th century France. So I think that's kind of an endearing piece of it is that it's like a franchise or an area of the world that's not really explored. And then there's like a kind of a cool thing with the leveling of this game, where like games have done like Skyrim, like the more you do in a certain area or like how you play, that's what levels it up. So you have like right now where I'm at, I have like 3 branches for my stealth stuff, and it's like aggressive, sneak, and like another thing, and like how I play will level up those bars to give me new abilities in that area, which I'm like, that's kind of cool. So get stuff back on. But yeah, it's on Game Pass. They're very pretty looking games, so if you're in the mood for some story game, it's fun. But I don't think it's like this like revolutionary thing. Like I'm very surprised it's nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. But slow year. So yeah, that's my little mini review of a Plague Tale Requiem for you, Ted.
It's not a slow year though.
It is a slow year.
It's slowed down. That's what I'll say. The year started off great, and then it's like.
There's a lot of duds this year.
Oh, that's
a lot of duds. Marvel Suns, Midnight Suns, boom,
dud. We haven't played it yet.
Yeah, but it looks like a dud.
What about the other Marvel game?
What other Marvel game? Snap? Snap's on.
No, that's Snap. Oh, is it the DC game? God, what was the DC game?
What game is he talking? What
is he talking about? What's he talking about?
There's another one that came out that was pretty bad, like in terms of the combat and. God, what's it called?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Ted, is there anything before Game of the Year that you want to play? Like that you're like, I want to play this before like we do like our little Game of the Year podcast. You know, it's very important, obviously.
Very important.
A lot of people watch it. 6 to 8 million people watch our video.
I recently found out Dwarf Fortress released.
Oh, okay. Like
after almost 20 years.
The not text grid based version of it.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But,
are you gonna play Dwarf Fortress? On the
Steam front page. That would be crazy. Trying to think if there's any. I would like to play. I'm curious about God of War. I can't necessarily play it. I'm going to do some research on that because I think it's really cool.
Excuse me.
Nights.
I offered to send my PS4 Pro up to Sacramento if Ted would play God of War on it. And what did he say? No.
I said yes.
Bull.
Please do.
Shit, you did not like 3 weeks ago. It's recorded footage.
And you said you would bring it up when you were coming.
No.
You were so sick you forgot about it.
All right, I'll give it to
you. Yeah, I would love a PS4 Pro. Thank you. So I'm curious about God of War. There's a game that came out called Ozymandias or Ozymandias, which is a 4X, a Bronze Age civilization game, 4X strategy game. Oh. That looks cool.
Interesting.
There's one of there were like 2 vampire games that came out this year.
Vampire Survivors.
And then there was another one. I think it's called like V.
Oh yeah.
V Rising.
Yeah, V Rising. Yeah.
I'm curious about that. A lot of people, I've barely seen any gameplay, but just what people describe as like what you can do. Looks like just a fascinating game.
It's good, but once you get through it and get to the end, there's nothing. So it needs more content to like keep it alive. Similar to like the games of that type. Valhalla and all like that. It needs
more
more stuff.
before
it needs more. And that's an early access game, so I don't know if that's a contender.
It is. There's more stuff coming. That's the thing. It's early access.
Yeah, same thing with James's Against the Storm. Really curious about that. Not really sure if that's game of the year.
No, and it's also early access, but it's great.
Yeah, what else is there? Midnight Suns, we briefly talked about it. Kind of looks funky.
Yeah,
doesn't look good.
The game I was thinking about was Gotham Knights.
I know. Now you said it.
Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
That game looked like
DC.
It is a DC game. That's how bad it was. We all forgot that it even existed.
I forgot it again.
And then 2 Warhammer games came out this year that I want to check out.
Darktide looks good. Darktide looks good.
Darktide is new
Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate, which is
please don't call it 40,000. It's 40K.
It's 40,000.
40K.
It's 40K
right now.
That's
like how my dad. That's how my dad reads
nerd rage.
40,333.
Warhammer 4,000. 40,000.
Yeah, it's 4.
You fucking dweeb.
It's 40K, whatever. Chaos Gate. 4X turn-based strategy game looks neat, and then Darktide, which came out on Game Pass.
Yeah,
trying to check that out.
Left 4 Dead style.
When I logged in right before my move to try and download it, and the Game Pass store or like store page was down, so I couldn't download it.
Well, it's back up now.
Free on Game Pass. So that's
it's huge.
Yeah. It's a $40 game.
Yeah, a lot of B tier, kind of not top tier games that I'm really interested in playing.
Because this year's a dud.
Yeah,
it's not a dud though. Those aren't bad games.
I guess you did.
I could play an entire year of $30 B games and be completely content.
But there's 2 clear top games of the year, and then the rest are just like, this year. Stray shouldn't even be on the list.
If not a dud year is based on AAA, well, Square Enix has like 4 games that came out this year that you should probably play.
True. I do want to play Final Fantasy Crisis Core, the PSP remake that they remade the PSP game. Because it's going to add into Final Fantasy
7 remake.
Yeah, but what's the next one called? Reunion?
Rebirth,
I think it is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I think it was Rebirth. But I want to play that, and that looks apparently it's a PSP game on the PS5. But I'm in.
That sounds
pretty good.
Rough.
That's not rough, but I'm in. 10 hours. I can do that for 10 hours.
Yeah,
I played Stray for 6.
Yeah.
Ted, did you play Stray?
Not really interested. I did not play Stray. Yeah. I set up the PS4 for it and then decided against it.
It's a good call. Save yourself $30.
Yeah. And then I guess I own Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
The newest one, Pokemon Violet. And haven't had a chance to dig into it.
Who's your starter?
I picked the duck.
Nice.
Good.
The duck with the cool hair.
There's only 2 choices really there.
The duck and the crocodile?
The duck or the crocodile. Yep. Good job.
They all look stupid.
Yeah, they do.
Except for the ones that we looked at, where they look like.
Yeah.
There's 2 ones are cool.
More about Pokemon next week or maybe even the week after.
Yeah, I want you to play that and get you.
Generally speaking, if you want to talk about dud years, I've really lost faith in the Switch.
Yep. Yeah.
Every single game, and I haven't looked at Sparks of Hope, so James, you'll have to tell me. But every single, Xenoblade 3, Bayonetta 3, these are games that were supposed to come out. They're big hits on the Nintendo platform.
Yeah.
And they all, every single one was like, the Switch is showing its age.
I'm really nervous for the next Tears of the Kingdom. In regards of this is going to come out on a regular, normal Switch. That's... Yeah. Now, that being said, Breath of the Wild came out on the Switch, and it's awesome, and you don't need to,
It's still the best-looking game.
Yeah, it's still the best-looking game on the Switch.
The thing is, though, I was, always wishing for a Switch Pro, but the OLED, just having an OLED screen will change your life in terms of, how you game, how you look at stuff. It's so much better.
But stuff is, performance issues in the Switch.
Well, that's the thing. It still has performance issues with games that aren't optimized for it. I can't play that Legend of Zelda game. God, what's it called? Link's
Awakening.
Link's Awakening. Because it stutters every single fucking frame. It's the worst thing ever.
That's so weird.
And I seen I watch YouTube and there's emulator gameplay. It's 100% smooth, and I'm like, God, it's I'm playing it on the actual OLED.
Played decent on my Switch. That's weird.
Yeah, it's because it's made for that. That's the thing.
Not the OLED.
And then sometimes it doesn't even go to the full screen. It'll black bar, and it's
oh, weird.
What the hell? But Nintendo games like Luigi's Mansion works just fine.
But I would say,
know.
Ted, I'm losing faith in the Switch as well, and they need to
I
do
am
something.
too. I'm at this point. It's more of like I wish there was a Switch Pro, and being like,
Steam Deck.
I'm not gonna buy any games until there's a Switch Pro.
I mean, I don't think I've played my Switch this year.
Wow. I picked it up a little bit.
I think, yeah. We played Strikers.
That's
right.
right. Strikers
Strikers
came out this year. God, Strikers came out this year.
Sports.
That's another dud.
I mean, Strikers was a good game, but it was
it
wasn't a 2022 game.
No,
like,
it wasn't a $60 game. That's what I'll say.
It was a GameCube game from 2004 that like had the same amount of like playability features and stuff.
Yeah, and in that it was great. But it wasn't. It didn't have an open world systems based daily quest system.
And
where's my battle royale?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought it was totally fine. If you have 3 friends who are consistently down to play, it's probably a freaking great time.
I don't got any friends.
But all of it looks old. All of it looks aged. And it's one of these things where I don't want them to have a new system because, I really like this. Nintendo kind of has this like backwards compatibility where they do everything in like half steps where the next console kind of can play the old one. Super Switch. But they need it because the Switch is dying.
Yeah,
it's rough.
And like Steam Deck has eaten their lunch now too. With like indie games, that's where I'm going. It's no longer on the Switch.
Yeah, the indie games. Oh my! I mean, I'll talk about it every single time.
The new Pokemon. I would like to talk about its mechanics, but like graphically, it's pretty bad.
It's deterred me from getting it. I was gonna get it, and then hearing it's actually like a good Pokemon game, I'm like, okay. And then like I watch videos, I'm like, I don't want to give people money for this.
No.
Yep.
Like it looks like a piece of shit product.
Right.
Oh man, that's not good. Pokemon companies have a whole other bag of worms though too.
Oh
yeah, they're fine.
Yeah. They sold 10 million copies.
Money. Yeah.
It's the best-selling game on Switch already. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you say the words "good Pokemon game," you get a whole bunch of people just buying a Switch
and buying 2 of them.
Although, I'll say I don't believe those headlines because I know the headlines you're talking about because like Animal Crossing.
No, I don't think it's like of all time. I think it was like in the amount of time period.
In the amount of time.
There's no way it sold Mario Kart because Mario Kart was one copied every 2 Switches.
Yeah.
Is Mario Kart.
Yeah, and like during the pandemic, like the amount of copies of Animal Crossing that was sold was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. It's Mario Kart's got to be the best-selling game on Switch.
Yeah.
To have a 50% attach rate is insane.
Mm-hmm.
No system does that for any game.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild. James, what are you going to play before Game of the Year? Where are you going with that?
God of War.
You started it yet? You started it yet now?
No, but you know what? A coworker got a PS5.
Great.
And he was telling me, he's like, hey, what should I play first? And he got the God of War Ragnarok bundle.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, definitely play the first God of War. Don't just play God of War Ragnarok. And then he was like, yeah, you know what? Someone was telling me to play this game. It's like called Last of You. I was like, Last of Us.
Play it.
You need to play Last of Us. Like, he's like, I was like, okay. I was like, I'm gonna turn you on Last of Us. And I was like, okay. This guy, he's like, oh, add me on PlayStation. I'm like, what's my PSN?
What's your PSN name?
So he wanted to play us like together on PlayStation. Well, I was like, all right, now I gotta like
install shit.
Now I'm gonna play.
Yeah. Good. You should play it. It's a good game.
Right.
Pretty good game, James.
And then I do want to give Sparks of Hope a try. And like I see my Switch and it's like sometimes I pick it up and I'll play like the original Rabbids game just here and there. It's still fun, but it's I'm like slogging through it. Like
it's hard to go back to.
It's luckily the rounds are simple, but there's the story is like nonsensical as this game could be.
Yeah.
You know.
It's because these damn Rabbids, James.
Yeah, but you're right. Like in terms of Nintendo's games this year have been really poor.
Yeah.
And it's really sad when they put up one of their games like for the Game of the Year, and it's like, yeah, this is not winning anything. This is what you're dealing with is real game companies.
Yeah.
Ooh,
shots fired.
But Breath of the Wild next year, I do think it'll be up there in terms of story because it's too good.
And I think that team already made a game that runs great on Switch. I don't think they're changing that much, so we'll see. That
game 5 years ago?
No,
5 years ago?
2017? Yeah, 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
That's a long
is
time
still the best game on the Switch in terms of graphics and performance.
Yeah, it's yeah. It's the game
Crazy.
if you got a Switch today, that's the only game I'd be like, you gotta just play this. And that's 90 hours, you're good. You won't want to do anything else. It doesn't get better.
Yep.
90 hours?
Oh, bro, yeah.
Oh, easily.
Ted, have you done the thing where in Breath of the Wild you can take a picture of everything in the game and catalog it?
Yeah.
You did all that? You did all that in what, 20 hours because you're super fast?
I didn't do that.
All right. Well, I did, and that took more than 90 hours.
No, I beat
getting
Breath
live.
of the Wild, I think in like 20, 21, 25 hours, and I was like, cool.
I don't think you got the most
I
out of
don't
the
like
experience.
I don't like cataloging shit.
Dude, it's so
Yeah, you
cool.
don't have
games.
to kill him.
And then I was like, how do I get the best picture of this sword? I was like, nailed it. And that's what
See, I had
that's
to
what Link
visit
did.
everywhere.
And then
That's
he
for
bought
me.
his second Switch game ever.
Just did.
You could probably just play Breath of the Wild forever and be fun on the Switch.
I think you pretty close. There's so much to that game. Find every Korok seed,
Oh,
all
God.
999, and then you get gifted a larger piece of poop, and that's true. That's what they give you. The maracas, man.
I can believe that.
Yeah, you just get a larger piece of poop. Okay. Besides God of War, anything, James, that you're in Sparks of Hope?
God of War, Sparks of Hope, probably some more PC games that are coming out, but they're not on the God of War. I mean, Dwarf Fortress came out. Have you heard of Dwarf Fortress?
Yeah, Ted just talked about it.
Yeah.
Did I just like totally miss you talking about Dwarf Fortress?
Yeah, I mean,
I thought you were talking.
I briefly
You briefly just
said
mentioned
I
Dwarf
was
Fortress.
really looking for like the name of this DC game. I was like,
That's when he was looking for
Yeah,
God.
yeah, I was like, all right,
Dwarf-
Ted's talking. My turn to look at this.
That's so funny.
yeah, Dwarf Fortress came out, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm too scared to try it. I can't even get into RimWorld, which is kind of like a spiritual successor.
What is
Dwarf
RimWorld?
Fortress?
That's a very dirty name.
Yeah, RimWorld.
It's the exact same concept.
Factorio, like all those types of.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of. I mean, the premise I think is like a ship crash lands on a planet, and you have 6 survivors, and you build a colony from there.
Gotcha.
But it's the same concept of like everything touches everything
and
else.
anything.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know what you're saying. So
Do you
you're
know
okay
what the guy who made Dwarf Fortress at all?
No, tell me a tale.
This guy, he's MIT PhD and like literally been working on this game ever since he graduated. Probably
That's
while
crazy.
he was getting his PhD as well.
Because
So
okay,
just a really smart math dude.
give me a history lesson on Dwarf Fortress, because I know this is like a big deal to a certain group of people.
It's a big deal because people have been playing this for 15, 20 years or something like that. Like a really long time, like probably even more than that. And it's a big deal that it's finally actually getting released for paid. I don't think it
Oh.
was. I think it's been free.
And it was like
So-
a numbers game, right? Like you didn't really like see graphically what was going on.
It was built using ASCII, so it was using It was using like text as graphics.
Right.
So like, one of your characters might be an @ symbol, and he moves around the map, but he's still like an @ symbol. It's kind of like Rogue, if you've ever seen the original Rogue.
It didn't really have a UI. Like it didn't have a lot of stuff, but it was great. Like in
Okay.
terms of like a sort of text based type of
Yeah.
build game. And now looks good in terms of what you can do with it, and it's probably one of the best of the games. And I already see it's already sold so much, and it's overwhelmingly positive.
Good.
So good for him.
Yeah.
That guy.
It's a really cool concept. It's like literally everything is able to interact with everything else.
Yeah.
Like
And
it
it's
all-
a three. So in the difference between like RimWorld or Factorio, like it's usually like a 2D plane, and you build stuff on it, and that's
Yeah.
what you see. But this is actually a 3D plane, so you can actually like build like a furnace up here, and then it'll drop down ingots to the lower level that they can use and pick up, and it's crazy. It stacks
that's
up.
cool.
It's layers.
That's really cool.
Can you imagine thinking about
layers, man.
Layers, man.
layers?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's kind of like a colony builder.
Yeah.
You're supposed to, and these, your dwarves, you don't necessarily control them directly. They kind of just do their own thing, and you kind of just help push the ship.
Oh, I see.
things-
Okay. I always thought maybe you were just like a singular dwarf, helping out people in this fortress.
Yeah. I was
No,
reading
no,
a
no.
review, and people were like, "This game is so good that I'm so intimidated to get past that tutorial."
Yeah.
Like
Oh my God.
there's so much to do. Like
That's so funny.
it's
Yeah, it's one of those games where like on the surface, it doesn't really seem that interesting. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
silly looking city builder, but it's more of the stories that you get along the way of like because you're building in caves and that's your fortress of like, we had a cat infestation because there was a rat problem. So the cats came in, and then we skinned all the cats and made coats out of cat fur. and we're able to survive the cold with cat fur. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
So that's like stuff you can actually do. That's like stuff you can actually do in this game. Is like,
yeah, that's something I actually do. Like, oh my God. It's one of those things where like if you get a rat problem, you can bring in cats to fix the rat problem, and just it's that classic like one problem will just lead to another problem, which will lead to two more problems. It's really cool. I'm happy for him. I'm glad it came out.
Me too. Yeah.
So that's something, James, that you want to play.
Potentially, like okay. I don't know if I'll have time. You'd have to really get into it, and but it's $30. That's a good decent price for what it is, and
sounds like it.
I think so, but
okay.
I'm not totally convinced on that. I'm gonna be able to play that in time.
Yeah. It's really
like and then I gotta look through all the indie games too and see if there's anything I missed that I wanted to give a try.
Yeah,
I think I've hit all the good ones.
I want to play Tunic. I think that's a game I want to dive into more. I think I want to give Tunic. It did, yeah.
Tunic was really cool.
I want to give it a fair shake.
Yeah, Tunic. I really liked the style of Tunic.
Yeah.
It came out at a bad time because I was just burning out of Elden Ring's hardcore style.
And Tunic's kind of hardcore. Yeah, Tunic's not like a.
It's pretty hardcore, and from what I hear, it gets hardcore later in the game in a way you don't understand.
Is it like Death's Door hardcore or like?
No, it's like the game doesn't give you tutorials. The game, so it's like just for people that don't know what Tunic is, it's like this top-down, like
Zelda-like.
Yeah, it's isometric. That's what I was thinking.
Isometric.
Like a Zelda-like old Link to the Past, Link's Awakening kind of thing. But you don't get tutorials. You find like pages of the game manual within the game. Yeah. And you're like building your manual, and that like The Witness or something, you'll learn like tools through doing stuff to get these pages of like, this is how I open these kind of doors, or like this is how I break these certain kinds of walls with like this kind of bomb. Okay. And so like the game never tells you stuff. You have to like find the information in the manual, but none of it's in English. So you start like learning the code, like the alphabet. Wow. Yeah. It sounds really interesting.
Fake language that it's made out of.
Yeah.
And the whole time it's kind of like Dark Souls combat where it's really tough, really deliberate. When you die, you get sent all the way back to the checkpoint.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're finding the pages of these manual and trying to decipher it and figure it out. And something to do with deciphering that manual, because like nothing is ever locked to you. Like if the manual says use this bomb to blow up this crack in the wall, that'll always work. You just have to know that knowledge. And the way people talk about the things you find out kind of once you're putting the pieces of the manual together, like in your head, like you're starting to understand the language. Apparently it gets pretty wild. Apparently you can beat the game in like minutes after starting it with the right pieces of knowledge.
And apparently there's some just interesting play with like that concept of the in-game manual, and like, are you like Inscription almost like in the video game playing the video game, or like what does that mean? So that sounds kind of interesting, and it's on Game Pass and everything. So that might be my first kind of project on winter break kind of thing. Yeah, that's the one that I'm interested in. I did play some Vampire Survivors.
Oh, you did?
Okay, it's on Game Pass.
Did you like it?
Kinda. Like,
I thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah, like as I'm playing it, I'm like, I don't know if I'm having fun, but like,
I'm just walking around.
Yeah, that's all you're doing. You're walking around.
Yeah,
and
you just walk around and things are dying, and
you pick new things up to make things die faster, and you walk around some more.
And people love it.
Yeah.
And there's many clones. There's like 3 or 4 different clones
already that like because of it.
Yeah, and they're way better.
And they're way better.
Sadly.
Yeah, there's a lot of mobile game clones, as you might imagine.
Yeah, it gave me that we mentioned that hollow feeling for that man that would play all of the Dark Souls games.
Yes.
That's how every round at the end of every round of Vampire Survivors feels, is like this, like, all right, okay, I guess I'll try again. And that's I'm not gonna play any more Vampire Survivors. What?
I'm gonna add to my list.
Do it.
Dune Spice Wars is a game.
Yes. Dune Spice Wars is great.
I don't know if I'll have time once again, but I'm interested in that. A lot of B tier strategy games on the computer that I want to play. Which is great for my free time. My friends are gonna love it.
Really enjoyed it. Game that James should check out because he has a PS5 now, but it didn't come out this year.
Returnal.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can finally play
I
Returnal.
I know.
All right, good. I'm glad you knew that's
my
right
list.
where I was going.
And Demon Souls, I guess. I could play Demon Souls.
Yeah,
You played that, right?
Yeah,
You didn't like it.
It's okay. Elden Ring is better.
Okay.
It just
Elden Ring
Demon
is
Souls
better.
feels old.
Until they make Bloodborne.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Bloodborne PS5 announcement soon, like a remake or like a report up to PS5 and then Bloodborne 2. I could see it.
This company, I'd be pouring in so much money into From Software.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Sony did. Wait, am I remember?
I think Sony did give them an investment.
Buy some more.
I don't know if I don't know how much they own of it, but they own some, I think. Dude, Bloodborne, great game. Apparently, it doesn't have a good PS4 to PS5 port though. Like playing it on the system is like it's
no, because it's locked. It's locked at like 30 frames.
It's locked at 30. Yeah,
it's not playable.
Yeah.
At least not in this age. Maybe back then. Yeah,
it's just unplayable. I think you can. The people like have emulators on the PC that unlock the frame rate, and apparently that's really good.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's the only way.
It's the only way. Yeah, that's kind of like the only main thing I want to play on my list. I've already played like we said, the two main games to talk about for Game of the Year, though. I figured for our Game of the Years, we just do like our top 5 games. Yep. Because there's not like
it's just
these extensive lists.
Or I'm gonna tell you every single indie game I tried this year.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Doom Spice Wars is coming in.
The problem with Game of the Year is everybody's so specialized.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're like me who grew up with computer games playing, cheaper strategy games that you bought from Target, none of those games made Game of the Year.
No.
And so it's like just play what you like.
It's all third-person action games.
Play what you like and talk about it.
Yeah. All right, Ted.
My motto.
That's your motto. That's Ted's motto.
Yeah.
Oh, I did check out recently the new Fortnite update, which I keep telling you about.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about this. Chapter 4.
Chapter 4, yeah. And I also a friend plays it and likes it, and I'll say like I don't like it, but yeah, they're into it.
Yeah.
And they had this event this past weekend for it's called the Fracture event.
Was that going from 3 to 4? Is that like kind of the
right to end 3 to 4? And I think I'd never done one of these before, and they do them all the time. I guess,
they do them every time they transfer. Yeah.
It was really cool. So you logged in and they put you in like a pre-lobby, and you waited like 10 minutes or so with 2 other people. You had to be in a group of 4. So it was just me and my friend, and then the event starts and it puts you in this world. Basically, what happened is like the world kind of exploded, the original Fortnite world.
Oh, okay.
And it reminds me. It just literally just reminds me of like Endgame or something like that. You got like snapped basically, and you're trying to put all the pieces back together. So in this event, you have to go around collecting these little like soul objects that go into the core of the world, and as you keep doing that, more pieces of the world get attached and attracted.
Oh wow!
And so you visit like different like areas that were like existed in the old world, like the burger joint or whatever, or the taco place.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have these like little like memory things, like you go over and you saw like a glimpse of like an old Fortnite memory. It was really
cool.
Really well done.
Are you like fighting people? Is this also like a battle royale that's going on at the same time, or is
no? There's no fighting. It's just
okay.
It's just you're with like 40 to 50 other people, and you're all collecting stuff for this world.
That's cool.
And your goal is, there's no really goal. It's like you just hey, you did this. You jumped over here. You grabbed this. You threw this person off, like kind of thing. And then after the event was over, it like dropped the trailer for the chapter 4, which is this whole new world that you built together.
Very
cool. There's gonna be Geralt.
Yeah, I saw Geralt and Doom Guy.
Doom Guy. There's gonna be a lot more people, and so this launched on Sunday. It launched, and it is fantastic. It's running on Unreal Engine 5. Mm-hmm. It looks good, and it's very medieval and meadowy-esque. It actually kind of reminds me of like I'm playing like in like a Witcher landscape, but Fortnite. Okay. So the forts are forts, like they're actual like brick forts, and there's different weapons now. There's this hammer that is really fun to use. You just like jump around like Doomfist.
That's so cool.
There's new weapons and stuff. It's fun. Like I've been having a lot of fun playing it, and yeah, it's a really cool thing that they did, and really well done. Like no issues I've had at all.
Did you buy Geralt?
He's not out yet.
Oh,
He
okay.
unlocks in like 2-3 months.
Months.
I don't know what I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna probably have some like Geralt area. Usually when they announce like either like a big character or like an event like Dragon Ball Z, they had like a little like island. They had like they do something for it. So
okay.
I was wondering like, ooh, they're gonna do like Kaer Morhen or something like that, like the big castle or like
That'd be sweet.
Be really cool, really cool.
That's really cool. So it's a very different map than it was when we've played it recently.
Oh, everything's different.
Oh,
yeah, there's
cool.
nothing that's the same.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Brand new map.
All right, I'll try out some Fortnite. I did update it today for you, James.
Yeah.
So
and no build, of course, is the best mode ever, and I'm glad it's been a permanent mode.
Yeah, that's
Fortnite,
pretty cool.
So
that's really cool. And I've been really enjoying Warzone 2.0. I think it's been very enjoyable.
I know. I missed last week. You guys like it?
Yeah, we do. We
had
a lot. We talked quite decently about it last week, but the new map is interesting. I'm not like fully in love with it yet, but it's definitely like, I think it's different enough from Verdansk, which was the first game's map, to kind of like stand out. But it's very different, very samey. A lot of like little towns everywhere, rather than like kind of like almost Fortnite-esque or the original Call of Duty, where like this is the city, this is like the windmill area or whatever. This is definitely like, oh, we got this little town. But it's cool. What it does is the circles split. Have you seen this?
So no, I've not.
You can be
Circle
like,
split.
like you like in an area, and then there's like an A, B, and C circle like in different parts of the map, and then they all come back together. And like, I think that's like super sick.
That's
whenever
really
they do that. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is fun. It's good.
Cool that they're mixing it up.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
A
lot of changes.
Have you guys? Jake, you do not own Modern Warfare 2. James, you do.
Yep.
And the one complaint that I've heard outside of people out of my friend group is that the unlock system is very convoluted.
Yes.
Are you guys struggling to deal with that kind of a thing?
I don't think it's like limiting us from playing, but it's definitely like dumb.
It's a really dumb system.
Like you'll get to a point where like to unlock a scope for a certain gun, you'll have to use a different like if I want to unlock a scope for an assault rifle, the challenge may be like kill 45 people with this submachine gun or like this shotgun to unlock a scope.
It should always just be with the same gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like they're forcing you to mix it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I guess if you own Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, you can play like the regular multiplayer and you'll get 15, 20 kills pretty quickly rather than like I'm getting 3 kills, every game or whatever. If I'm lucky. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it's good. I'm very excited for the rebirth mode. I think that the game desperately needs rebirth.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. Absolutely.
Soon. Hopefully.
Pray to God. We're close to Game of the Year.
Pray
to God. Thank you so much for watching the 115th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's Ted. That's James. And we will see you next week.